Hmm. Nice. Very nice. Well, that's not what I intended. Um, we tested the stream earlier today and there were some issue and there were no issues. And then uh, now of course there are issues. Well, that's a bummer now that it's 13 minutes past. That's a huge bummer. Well, hopefully you can hear me. I'm just gonna run through everything and make sure that um, the sound and everything is okay. It's really loud in my ears. Everything looks like it's showing up now. Gosh, you guys, I'm so sorry. We tested everything earlier because this is actually a test stream for a big live stream that we have coming up. So yeah, unfortunately that's really concerning. But nonetheless, everything appears to be working. I'm gonna pop over just back to my frustrating. Dismiss. Everything's fine. We'll go back hardwired here. Give me just a sec to make sure. So annoying. Well, terribly sorry everyone for that snafu there. So we're just doing off the webcam here, which is technically the same input output in theory, as long as it's pulling from my stuff here. Well, nobody's here, which is no shock because it's now a completely different link, which is not great. So, but we're gonna go ahead and roll with stuff. Maybe we'll do another one in a couple weekends here just to make up for this. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I've got a nice little list here of stuff to talk about. I'm just going to run through the agenda real quick, and then, as we've done in the past, just quickly go over the agenda, and then I really like to open up with a story. So we're just going to kind of break it into what we do. Talk about documentaries first, documentaries, then our programs, Send Hope, Reconnect, and Everest Orphanage, in Uganda. Nameless Project podcast, some cool updates on that. Just some overall operational stuff, and then how you can get involved. So should be pretty quick. Here. Don't want to take up too much of anyone's time. Not that anyone's currently on the stream, unfortunately, but here we are. So hey, my name is Bryce Funk. I'm the creative director for the Nameless Project, so I get to shoot and edit a bunch of the videos that we put out. Yeah, I'm in charge of pretty much all the visual stuff. So really excited to be here. And so yeah, it's my responsibility that the stream didn't work, unfortunately. So opening up with a quick story. The last handful of months has been a super busy set of months for us, both as Nameless Project. Some cool stuff has been happening, but also just for our production company, High Sierra Collective, and just as a family. I mean, obviously the holidays, things get a little bit crazy. And so coming into the first week of January was like a really interesting time for us because, well, for me especially, because we were sick and the holidays and just a lot going on and just feeling like, what's going to happen in 2025. And there's been a lot of projects on the table that have either been moving really slow or have been put on the back burners, or people who are involved with the project have left. So it just start of 2025 felt like my goodness, what's going to happen? Um, So so the first week of 2025 was just a lot of adjusting and getting back into the swing of things. And we were able to go out to Wallace Marine Park, where we're filming some documentary work twice. Um, and it was a really encouraging time for me. And I want to share a quick video with you guys here. I'm gonna get this. I gotta get this re-queued up actually. Now that um yeah. I wanna show you guys this quick um I wanna show you guys this quick video. Um just a really encouraging time for me in and around all of this stuff that was shaking up. Let's watch this guy.
Get into treatment today. Go to
Because I'm tired of doing the same shit. Tired of running away. Tired of being scared to ask for help. So, as a man, we don't try. Sorry. We don't try to ask for help or go look for help. We try to do it on our own. But without support, it's kind of hard. Sorry for crying. But, for me, it's hard. Because after having everything for 3 years and just losing it all, it's kind of rough.
So that was a gentleman uh, while we were out doing a bunch of filming, that he decided to get into treatment. That was like the day, the straw that broke the camel's back. Um, and he decided he was done. So he walked out with us. There was actually two guys that day that left Wallace Marine Park that had spent years on the streets. And that was the day that they were like, "Hey, we're done." And that was a really encouraging reminder for me, in and amidst a lot of the stuff that's happening, that at the very end of the day, our goal isn't to make documentaries, isn't to make films, isn't to make money, isn't to get people to watch our stuff, get our views up. It's to see lives changed. And for us, it's the eternal destinations changed. Ultimately lead people to Jesus. But for those two guys, seeing them make that choice to get off the street was so incredible, so encouraging for me. Um, and the another interesting moment that same week, just like a day or so later, being out with my son, and we passed the homeless gentleman, and we're at an intersection. I had some food in the car, and so just took a few bars and handed it to this gentleman, and my 7-year-old in the back seat was like, "Dad, we gotta go back." He can't be out there. Like, where's he gonna sleep tonight? It's cold. And, he's just going on and on about, like, we gotta go help him. We gotta go find him a good place to live. And it just reminded me that, um, with all this stuff that's happening with homelessness, with perspectives that people have, and some people that are very inhospitable towards our homeless neighbors, and don't have compassion, that, y- you know, seeing a kid be so tenderhearted towards someone, with no, you know, no fear, no hesitancy of like, this is a person and I want to help him. That was super cool, really encouraging for me, and just I think really helped set the tone, I think, going into 2025. So, anyways, really excited. We're telling some good stories. So, after that, let's just go ahead and hop into the documentary work that we've been working on the last 3 to 6 months, and kind of what's coming up the next 3 to 6 months. Obviously, you saw this gentleman here is out at Wallace, and we've talked about Wallace a lot. We could spend a lot of time out at Wallace, and it's kind of one of our main documentary projects for 2025, is doing a story on Wallace Marine Park and the people out there. We've gotten to know a lot of folks that live out there. They know us. They know me. I'm the camera guy. That's what people call me. And I know a lot of them. I know their stories. I've seen pictures of their kids. I've met their kids, for some of these folks. And so it's really exciting for me or for us, I guess, to really feel led to do a story on Wallace. There's over 300 people that live at Wallace Marine Park, this 100-acre, approximately 100-acre area in West Salem, just on the other side of the Willamette. So, really excited to tell a story of these people that I've gotten to know really well. So that's something that's super exciting and really on the forefront. Something that we're trying to do with documentaries this year that we not that we haven't done in past years, but just something that we've really felt led to is just be really intentional about our documentaries this year, to kind of set some goals about what we want to make and really put ourselves in a position to make those happen. And that's been in the process for the last 6 months. The final 6 months of 2024 is really setting ourselves up well for success in a lot of ways. So we're really excited to be um, really start moving on some projects, some stuff that I can't, some stuff that actually we're not allowed to share quite yet, but that will be rolling out hopefully by the summer, depending on how filming goes and just scheduling with all the people involved. We're super excited about some of these projects. So, but just being more intentional about as I like to say, there's a lot of irons next to the fire, but we've been really intentional about um, kind of what projects we are putting effort into, and how those projects get moved um, into the production process. Like for example, we've done a lot of work in homelessness, but the Nameless project, we focus on, or we want to focus on homelessness, foster care, incarceration, and human trafficking. And so we're kind of in a really good position right now to do a couple projects on homelessness, or I'm sorry, on foster care, on the foster system. And so we're really trying to push into those projects, and balance some of the work we're doing in the homeless community and some of the work we're doing in the foster community. So got an exciting meeting about a potential project in the child welfare system or the foster system tomorrow. So really excited about that. And then of course Uganda. We still have some projects on that have we still have a ton of footage that's been shot that's we're working on editing into some more stories on Everest Orphanage Association Uganda and possibly getting back there. We would love to get back there. Obviously, there's some financial hurdles to getting back there, back to Uganda. So, working on some of that stuff. So, we have some stuff that's a little bit more solidified. Um, where pre-production is, I don't want to say, we always strike this balance of the Nameless project, right? Of like, we're not taking any salaries here, and the projects that we do are uh, free. More on that in a minute. Um, so we try and strike this balance of with pre-production, right? So we do a lot of work in pre-production to make sure things are done well. Um, but sometimes it's just so much time between working on projects. So we're trying to be really intentional about doing working on fewer projects at a time and being really intentional about continuing to move those projects down the pipeline instead of them getting stagnant, which is something that we saw last year, is that projects were just taking forever to get out. Um, that's really all with documentaries, and we're going to touch more on just the process with documentaries here in a second. Let's check the stream, make sure nothing's broken yet. Yeah, looks good. Okay. Um, I need to breathe for a second. My goodness. Program. So a big thing for us, right, is connecting, providing people with information, connecting people through stories, and providing meaningful ways for engagement, which is our programs. The two, I guess, three programs that we have currently, f- two programs that we have kind of behind the scenes that are almost ready to launch, and then one that's going. Of course, so we have Send Hope is our initiative for foster, um, for working with parents and kiddos in the foster system within the first 48 hours of placement, getting them meeting some tangible needs. And then Reconnect, which is working with youth specifically in the juvenile justice system, and getting them outside doing fishing and hiking and just outdoor activities and partnering that with some mental health. And then, of course, partnering with Everest Orphanage Association to provide school fees for the 50 or so kids that are at Everest Orphanage. So, Send Hope is stuff's happening, which has been really exciting. Um, just a foot and a half behind the camera is a massive pile of stuff. Um, and not just stuff, but really important stuff to help meet the needs of kiddos in our community. And so, really, our next big task with Send Hope is to go through a lot of. We've gone through a lot of this stuff, but we have even more stuff now that we need to go through, organize, categorize, and figure out what's next. What do we need to really get Send Hope that final push? So we're applying for a couple. Well, one grant in specific locally that should give us the funds we need to kind of check off those last couple boxes to really make Send Hope launchable and sustainable. Um, other than that, Send Hope is really like ready to go. So we're really excited about that. Um, it's just probably going to be, I would say, like early March, like spring is when Send Hope should be ready to go. So that's kind of our goal, is to get all of this stuff organized, figure out what we need, what we don't need, because there's probably a lot of stuff here that doesn't necessarily fit the goals of Send Hope. Get everything organized, get everything categorized so we can start sending stuff out. Um, yeah. Is there anything else? We also and a part of that is we have a bunch of stuff here. So we have some friends, some people that we know that got their first two kiddos, and so we were able to put together. We posted on our social media. We were able to put together a backpack or two backpacks, one for each kiddo, with some clothes and some shoes and just some of those tangible items to be able to help them out and get them through. They took them just a couple days before Christmas, which is so sad for kiddos to be in that situation. So really thankful that we have the resource to be able to do that. So thank you to our community, our friends and our family, and just members of our community who have made that happen. It's truly an impressive pile of stuff behind the camera there. Very distracting for me right now. So that's really the big thing with Send Hope. Reconnect. We talked about Reconnect in our last update. And what Reconnect was over the summer was we were partnering with a mental health professional in Salem we're taking 6 youth every single Wednesday. We're taking them out fishing. So we partnered with the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, partnered with Sportsman's Warehouse to get some equipment. ODFW gave us some fishing licenses. It was great. We were able to take these kids out every single Wednesday. We were able to go fishing. We were able to bring in some, big 18-inch rainbow trout. It was an incredible time and really great for these kids and really showed some impact. And our goal was to, we packaged that up and pitched it to the school district, and we were just a little bit too late in order to make that something that to basically turn that into an after school program. Because, over the summer, kids don't have school. It's a lot easier to work with their schedules. As soon as they're in school, it becomes a lot harder. So hopefully the goal is we can run this again in the summer and then hopefully be able to pitch that to the school district for what would be this coming school year, 2025, 2026, and run it there. So that was such a fun time. It was really cool to get those kids out of Salem. Kids that have never been, if you don't know Salem, there's some incredible fishing that's just 45 minutes to an hour east of Salem along the Santiam River. And some of these kids have never really been in trees, never been in nature. And just to see them, seeing kids like pulling in a rainbow trout for the first time, like it's truly an incredible experience. So again, that's part of what the Nameless Project does is we want to provide people access to information and data and statistics. It's digestible. We want to connect people to marginalized communities through storytelling. And then we want to provide meaningful pathways for engagement. And so Reconnect is one of those ways for us to engage with youth in our community, because the youth in our community are vastly misunderstood. So we're kind of in a lull with Reconnect right now, mainly because of weather. You could go fishing right now. I still go fishing right now. It's just miserable. And so a lot of the folks that we're taking out, it's just for us operationally, it's cost prohibitive to run it this time of year in the winter. Like I'm in my garage right now and it's like under 40 degrees. It's cold in here, right? Which is, fine for me. Like I have the equipment, but to provide the equipment for everyone, even if we're taking out 6 people, that's a lot of, like waterproof shoes and gloves and hand warmers and jackets and hats and all that stuff that we don't have. So we were partnering with same mental health professional to run some programs for local homeless shelters. We were taking homeless young adults out fishing, and we ran that 3 or 4 times before the weather just really crapped out on us, unfortunately. So we would love to restart that up in the spring as the weather gets better. Um, and yeah, and the trout fisheries open up again. So because stuff starts getting stocked next month. So looking forward to that. So keep an eye out where I really want to be posting more on Reconnect. I mean, I want to be posting more on a lot of the stuff we do. So, but that is Reconnect. Everest Orphanage. So we've continued to pay for school fees. We have a few folks that continue to give very generously that allow us to do that. And that's kind of like, I would say, top priority for the Nameless Project of like, we want to get those school fees covered. So that's what a lot of our resources go to. And so we've been able to cover their school fees for the first year. And we're kind of working on the second year. We're going to launch some stuff here in the next few months to kind of help push that along. But something amazing that we're able to share is, we had a family member reach out and ask like, hey, how can we help this orphanage? We want to do something. And a need that they had that Derek had expressed was mattresses, and we had shared some videos in the past of what their mattresses look like. They're terrible. They're these thin little like 2-inch mattresses that are well worn, and they're just sleeping on the ground. And so we were able to raise $1,000, 800 of which covers the mattresses, and then an extra 200 for just whatever miscellaneous needs they have. So we've raised that money, and we're working on getting that to Derek. So excited about that. Very, very thankful for our family and friends that were able to give to that $1,000. It was just such incredible work that they did to be able to make that happen for the 50 or so kids that are at Everest Orphanage. So huge thank you for them. Um, that's the big updates on Everest, and something too. And I like to express this whenever I can with Everest Orphanage, is Derek, the gentleman who runs the orphanage, is um just so outstanding and so upright in his communication with us. He's constantly sending us whenever they have exams, he lets us know when the exams are going to be. He sends us, I'll get just like 30 images of the report cards of all the kids. And I love that he goes above and beyond, sends us pictures of them in their uniforms at their school, so it really goes above and beyond to show us that like the money that we're sending is being used for how he says it is. So I just love that. I love that he does that, because I know there's some people have questions about like, is that money getting used for what he says? And yes, it is. Um, yeah. Okay. So exciting update with the Nameless Project podcast. We had mentioned in the last update that some things were kind of moving in order to start the Nameless Project podcast, which what I thought was going to be something like this, like sit down at a table, have conversations, pick topics, do some well-researched stuff. That was the plan. That was my plan. However, that just never came to fruition. For several reasons. The main reason was scheduling. So the gentleman who's going to co-host it with me, he and I both just have very busy schedules, and so getting our schedules to line up was not working. Um, which ended up being a really good thing, because right after, I kind of finally pulled the plug on that and decided like this just isn't going to work as much as I want it to work. Um, Another good friend of mine, Josh Lair, reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in being a part of a podcast that he wants to produce called Cops and Convicts. So I will link that in the description, because that is happening. We've filmed 6 episodes, released 5. We're filming 1 this week and 1 next week. So that ship is sailing, and it's very similar to what I wanted to do with the Nameless Project podcast, of getting subject matter experts together to discuss hard topics facing our communities, and that's exactly what Cops and Convicts does. It's just a little bit different. So Josh Lair is an incredible friend. I've been all over I've been to Costa Rica with him. I've been, he's just an incredible human being. And just so happened to spend a lot of his, or I shouldn't say a lot, but part of his life incarcerated. That's his past of, being addicted to substances. So he is a subject matter expert on what it means to be an addict. And now he works in addiction recovery. He works for a medicated assisted treatment company called Ideal Option. He's got his hands in law enforcement, all sorts of stuff. So it's Josh Lair and a recently retired officer from Kaiser PD, Rodney Bamford. The two of them golf. So they're golfing. We bring on guests and we talk about hard topics. And we've had some incredible conversations. We've had senators on. We've had subject matter experts from recovery organizations, organizers of Organs Measure 110, all sorts of great stuff. So I encourage you, if you were interested in the Nameless Project podcast, that will not be happening, but Cops and Convicts is happening. So please go check that out. It's been a really, 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 really challenging but fun project. It's a lot of work, but it's really good work, and the conversations that are being had are amazing. So, Nameless Project podcast is no more. Take a break. Okay, that's pretty much it for this. That's pretty much it for media and stuff that we're creating. So really quick to get into just overall operations. So a few things that we're working on behind the scenes is just kind of um, cleaning up our operations. Really, as we've gotten bigger, as we get more money coming in, trying to create systems that scale, that aren't just going to work for us at the small size that we are now, but will continue to work for us in the future. So just a clear funding pipeline. So we're talking about what would it look like to do something similar to, there's a nonprofit called Charity Water. I encourage you to look them up. They do something really interesting where they have two separate bank accounts, one that is just for admin stuff and one that's for giving. So if you go on their website and say, I'm going to give $25 for a well in Uganda, every single penny of that $25 goes to build a well. All of the admin stuff that is the, payment processing and keeping the lights on their offices, all of that stuff, that's fundraised for separately. And I just really like that model of you guys knowing exactly what your money goes to. So, um, we're exploring that and what it would look like. Currently, a lot of our admin stuff, trying to think off the top of my head. I'm working on the annual report right now. I mean, a lot of our admin stuff right now is like we just had to pay $75, something like that, to file our annual report with the Oregon Department of Justice. We have to pay like 200 or something dollars every other year for our domain and our website and all that stuff. So that's really all of our admin stuff right now. Filing our taxes is pretty simple. So just really clear funding pipeline so people understand where money is going. 'Cause that's something I'm really big on with nonprofits is like I want you all to know how money's being spent. Um, Another thing we're doing is working on creating uh, creating alternate funding for some of our projects, right? So we're doing a lot of media. So when I think of media, I think of advertisement. But how can we create tasteful advertisement that helps fund our programs while being a benefit to the company or the brand or whoever that decides to advertise with us? So that's something we're working on to go after some bigger sponsorships and to partner with bigger brands and to bring in some revenue to help fund things like Everest Orphanage and Send Hope and Reconnect and those things. Because our goal with the Nameless Project is that we never charge for stories, right? Like the stuff we're doing at Wallace, the stuff we're doing in like we don't charge for that, and so kind of where we draw the line is like we have the business High Sierra Collective that like we do commercial work, we work for nonprofits to do brand storytelling and fundraising and stuff like that. That is completely separate from the Nameless Project. So if a nonprofit, if we know a nonprofit that like working with an entity right now that's not a nonprofit, but they expressed interest in like, hey, we have these individuals that are part of a marginalized community, and what would it look like to tell their stories to raise awareness for their situation? Um, that's something that totally belongs to the Nameless Project, um, to help the community connect to that marginalized community through storytelling, right? And so we don't charge for those projects, and we want to keep the Nameless Project that way, where we're not charging. That said, like the Nameless Project is not like a free filmmaking platform, right? Like that's why like we have a business. Like you can't come to us and be like, "Hey, we've got this really cool story. Can you come tell it and we'll use it at a fundraising event?" That's not what Nameless Project is for. That's what the business is for. But our goal is to connect people to marginalized communities through storytelling. So, and uh, we don't want finances to ever be a burden for that type of storytelling. Um, so just like really clarifying a lot of that language across our website, across our documents, so that it is easy to understand, because we don't want people to think like, oh, Nameless Project just tells stories for free. Yes, but no. Um, these are really the big things. Um, we're doing a lot of updates to the website right now to launch the foster care side of things. So we're working on a series of 3 videos that will kind of push out the foster care side of the website on the child welfare data book. We've done a really comprehensive deep dive on child welfare data kind of going back the last 10 years. So Oregon released the 2023 stats for child welfare in October. They usually release it in December, and so they released a little bit early, which kind of caught me off guard. So we were able to take that and go back to 2013. So we're going through all of that data right now, doing a series of 3 videos that we'll release in the next about month or so, and then that's going to kind of kick off the foster care side of the website and a lot of the conversation around that and some more stories around that. Um, so yeah. So last thing before we finish is how you can get involved. 3 big ways for me, or for us: share our stuff. Like, if some of our videos that you've seen have impacted you, we want you to share those. That's the best thing that you can do. Post them on your Facebook, send them to your friends. That's the best way to get information out. If you want to get involved with like Reconnect or Send Hope, or if you have questions about Everest Orphanage, you can email us directly. It's hello@nameless-project.org. Best way to get a hold of us. If you have specific questions really on anything, hello@nameless-project.org. Another big thing, pray for us. There's a lot going on. None of us take a salary from the Nameless Project, so we're really just fitting this in the best we can in our schedules. I wish you could see this mountain of clothes. I'm gonna post a picture of it on our Instagram, because we need the time to go through this. So yeah, pray for us. That's a huge thing, because there's a lot going on. So um, let's see if anyone asked any questions. I'm super bummed. No one asked any questions. That's fine. Really sorry, guys, that we had those technical issues. That's no fun, but unfortunately, that happens sometimes. So thank you all so much for being a part of this. Next time, hopefully, we don't have any issues, and we'll see you then.